Hello, welcome back to episode 3 of the missile build series. Today we're gonna show you one of the most important things in drifting, which is a clutch. This is a clutch, no, it's actually just part of the clutch, it's a friction disc, but nonetheless. We do a small exhaust modification. We show you how to install the Flyoff properly, and then we go to the biggest thing in drifting, which is exceptional for this kind of motorsport, because it's style. You can do whatever you want to the car. There's no regulation on body kit or anything, and you can actually make your car yours and not just a beaten up shit box. As we're here, one of the biggest things, especially with low horsepower car, is the clutch. This is a friction disc, like a stock type friction disc. This has organic friction material, which you can see here all over it. Which we usually put in is sinter friction disc. It has just 6 pucks, or 5, I think. It has 5 pucks. So the friction material can actually breathe in between, and you get lots of gases out, and it won't slip that easily. Because if you have a low horsepower car, you will need clutch kicks from time to time to keep the rear wheel speed up, or quicken up your transition, or anything in between. There are so many uses for clutches, it's like incredible. It's as often used as the throttle in drifting, basically. So what you want to have is not something like this, because this will burn up after 1 or 2 events if you frequently use your clutch. So what we actually did is put a sinter clutch in there. It's one of the more expensive mods you do to a drift car, but it's absolutely worth it. If your clutch is still good on the car you got, you can maybe drive that for 1 or 2 events, but maybe buy the different clutch ahead of time to have it ready when you actually need it. Changing a clutch on an event is unpleasant. It will take, depending on how quick you are, from 1 to 4 or 8 hours. With 8 hours you're really fairly slow and should think about maybe give someone else your car to work on it, but still. Good for you that you actually did it, even though it took 8 hours. The other modification I did, I drilled a hole in my gearbox here. I can actually see the clutch, and some of the hot gases can come out, which is nice if you have to run some diagnostics or something into the clutch and check where an issue is. You can actually see it without removing the gearbox. Good, that's all about the clutch. The exhaust system. There are noise regulations on most of the tracks, so you can't go too loud. What we did, we kept all the system stock, but we removed the back box. It makes the car louder, yes, but it's usually not for sound. Like, imagine having a back box here and your tailpipe standing out until there. If you spin out and hit a wall, or someone hits you from the back, it will actually crumble your exhaust system, and then you have to cut it out and re-weld it and everything. So what we did, we just cut off the exhaust system after the first silencer. No, actually here it's the second silencer. We cut off the exhaust system after the middle silencer, and then just put some 90-degree bends to the floor. It actually makes the car quieter from the outside, because the sound isn't directional, it just ends under the car. And the other great thing, you will snap an axle from time to time, so I can actually change my axle without removing the exhaust system, which makes it really fairly quicker, and you don't burn your arms and everything. So this is just a nice simple mod you can do. I would advise doing it, because you also see a lot of cars dragging their exhaust system as soon as the rubber mounts go out, because these stock rubber mounts are really not good and squishy. One of my rubber mounts here is broken as well, but the exhaust still can't go anywhere, and it still has some wiggle room, which is absolutely nice to have. You see that small penis thing hanging out of my rear bumper there? That is what's called a Bashbar. In drifting, you will have contact with other cars, and some cars don't have proper crash structures, which will absorb a light hit. So we put in a rear Bashbar. The other thing is, if you need to jack up your car quite a lot in drifting to change tires. You could jack it up on the differential, but then you always need to slide your jack way in. That's why this Bashbar has a jack mount. You can jack up the car on this thing only, and it works out perfectly. I don't have a front Bashbar. We have them, like Stefan has them, Ali has them. I like the structure which is there from BMW as standard. It's an aluminium tube which is quite sturdy, but it will fold in if you hit hard and actually decrease all the kinetic energy from going into your chassis and staying in the Bashbar. What you could say, the Bashbar also protects this lower part. So if you run over a tire, this will smash your radiator. With a proper Bashbar, it won't smash your radiator. We have a second car here which has a Bashbar, which I will show you really quickly. That's Stefan's Messer. The good one as well. Like you see, this is a proper Bashbar, really sturdy, fits the front bumper and actually protects all the necessary stuff. It also has some ears here, which protect the intrusion if you have a 45-degree hit. They're highly advised for me to have them. I just don't have them in the front because I don't know, who want to put in the work. But still, highly advised, I would recommend them. One essential part for drifting is actually the Flyoff. It is advised for beginners to not use the Flyoff too much. In my opinion, you should never use the Flyoff for drift entry. You can use the Flyoff to slow your car down, actually braking, but the foot brake is far more efficient at that. What I usually use the Flyoff is controlling the distance in the tandem, or actually as a lead car, if your car rotates, you can use a clutch kick to quicken up the rotation. But if your rotation is too high, you will spin out. So I usually use the Flyoff to stop that rotation. If you're in the transition and you pull the Flyoff really quickly, it will stop your rotation and you can position your car really good. It's still considered not too nice to use the Flyoff. If you can do the track without using the Flyoff at all, that's just spot on and how you want to do it. On the E46 model, you see all the lines down here. There are fuel line, fuel return line and evacuation line for the tank gases, whatever. And there are also two brake lines. That's because this car has a 4-way ABS system, which makes it a bit harder to work on. Because you have two lines going from the front and then going one to each brake caliper on the wheels. What you need to do to hook in the Flyoff is actually use these T-pieces to connect both lines from the front, and then go with one line to the interior of the car, and then you come back with one line, put it back into the T-piece, and then split it to the two calipers. It will render your ABS useless, but you won't use the ABS on a drift car anyway. It doesn't make sense. You want the car to actually slide when you hit the brakes. That's about hooking up the Flyoff, and we go to the inside and check the Flyoff I used. And I can show you some other options that are out there which we could use as well. One of the big things is actually positioning the Flyoff. I opted for an option that bolts directly to the stock e-brake system. I needed to modify the lever though, because there are other options, but you need to weld the plate here and everything. And I actually have the front of the car, at least a full interior, which I really appreciate having because I'm old, I don't want all the harshness, so I opted for this option. Usually what you want to have, a Flyoff shouldn't be in the way of your shifting. It's first, second, third. You won't need more than third on a 200 horsepower car, to be fair. Usually I'm in second, that the Flyoff should be close enough to your steering wheel that you can grab it quickly, but not too close that you actually could hit it while steering. Then you just pull it and let it go. That's basically all you need. You need to be fairly quickly there, so your Flyoff should be somewhat comfortable for you. To be fair, this position is not the best because the lever is in the back and I can't pull it down. I need a bit more biceps, as you see. But I especially trained for that. That is one option. Stefan chose a different option. We will hop over to his car really quickly and show you how this looks. That's Stefan's car here. You have seen that correctly. The image is not mirrored. It's actually a right-hand drive car. And same here. The steering wheel is far off from the Flyoff that you can touch it, but you can reach it very easily. Need to go a bit more forward for me to work it out. And then you see the position. I actually can pull it down and don't need to pull it backward. That is from the kinematics way better, to be fair, than the option I have. And it's really nice. You don't need to pull it that hard, but the drawback is you need to cut your center console, put in a base plate, and then mount the Flyoff on it. It will be a bit in the way of your seat if you're fairly close. I could drive like this. I need to get closer actually. And it scratches your seat a bit, which I don't like. But on power-wise and how to handle it, this is definitely the best option. But you need to cut up a bit of your interior. I didn't want to cut up my interior because I like it comfy. Stefan obviously doesn't like it comfy because he has removed everything. But this is the best option to mount the Flyoff. Mine is the best option if you want to retain some of your nice interior. And that's all about Flyoffs. What is also quite important, at least for me, is the style of your car. You should make your car nice and proper and stand out from the crowd and not just drive around with banged BMWs. At least in my opinion. Everyone to their own there. As you can see, my car is already banged up because I did a lot of events. This was like Max Heidrich, also Driftbrothers driver. And there's some other bangs from some friends of me. But it is nearly the end of the season, so the car had quite the rough season. I will maybe give it quite a bit of an overhaul over the winter break, make it a bit nicer. But I will show you what we did to the car. Like, at least in my opinion, which really makes E46 especially coupe stand out, is an M bumper combined with the yellow indicators. I can't stand the clear indicators. I actually had to buy Ali some yellow indicators and told him he's not allowed to drive an Altstadt if he won't put them in, which he actually did. The open fenders were actually somewhere in the middle. I could have driven with my rusted out fenders, but it's not too nice, so I opted for the whole M3 style. Like, we put some front fenders in, we put some rear fenders in as well, just to make it nice with all the lines, and we actually painted the car, as you can see. It's a fairly good paint, like a friend of mine did it. On the roof it's really good, here it's really good. It holds up to all the tire marks because you can actually polish them out with some paint thinner. Easy stuff. And I actually added, since the last video, a roof spoiler as well. It doesn't look like much, but I think it's quite nice. I'm also looking for some kind of rear spoiler back there, just a small one, which I'm not too certain about. And you can see these cars hit a lot of tire walls. Also they're quite badly banged up. And I also opted for some wheels I like to have. In the beginning of the video, we had some Borbet DB8 GTs on the car, which were 18-inch. I decided, for me it's easier to go with the 17-inch wheels. They're the same style, they're from MK Motorsport and they're like 20 years old or something. You can still get them in fairly good dimensions. And this car has all the same wheels all around. So I only drive these wheels. You will never see the car on a different wheel like this, which is, in my opinion, quite nice as well. And I do have to tell you, even though it was a year ago, I still dig the style of the car. I think I need to clean it up a bit because it's fairly banged up everywhere. But this is okay. It is a missile car, it is a practice car after all. It is supposed to get hit by your friends, and you're supposed to hit your friends as well, that you can actually learn something and not bang up your good drift car. That's about it. We've shown you everything. This was the last episode. That is everything you need in a missile car, and actually a bit more. You don't necessarily need the style thing, but if you have some money left over and you really want to make the car your own, I think you should do it, because you will represent the sport at the track. And I think the sport is worth to be represented as well as possible. I don't do my best all the time because I see my car is banged up as well, but it will get back to a better condition because these tire marks actually, small story there, you see the green. I usually don't drive on tracks where the tires are painted green. This was from the first event I ever drifted that car. And it was actually in the first 3 laps, because the car looked really nice after it was freshly painted and with the new body kit, that I couldn't wrap my head around damaging the car. So the options were either worry the whole day about what will happen to the car, or just go out, hit a tire and damage the car in the first 3 laps, that it's just out of your system. You won't mind about damaging the car anymore after the first hit, and that's exactly what I did. And after you've done all these modifications to your car, you can just go out, have fun in your car, put in the minimum amount of work, like bolt check it after every event, and then you're good to go. Happy days, you can drive for hours, you will actually spend more hours driving the car on the racetrack than wrenching on it in the workshop, which is very rare. And the main thing about the missile, that's what missiles is all about. You need to spend time in the seat to get better at driving. If you spend time in the workshop, you get better at wrenching, which is nice as well. But if you want to go drifting, go buy an E46 or something similar, slap in the parts that you want to, and just go out and have fun all day. See you around, guys.